logistics that we often lack, for which we are pleading with your outlet. One of the most important things that we do here is cardiac resuscitation. As in, when someone's heart stops beating, there are ways in which we can revive the heart and then get the person back to life. And one of the major equipments that we often require is a defibrillator. Unfortunately, what we had here has broken down and for a while has been unavailable. So what we can often do is to use what we call a chemical cardioversion, in which case we try to bring the patient back with certain drugs. But we all know that at certain points we will definitely need the defibrillator to shock the heart back into rhythm. Unfortunately, in the absence of this, we have lost a few patients that we could otherwise have saved. There are other things that we need at the emergency, especially cardiac monitors, which we would usually set up on the critically ill so we can monitor them closely, so we are able to pick up any derangements as soon as possible and intervene. God being so good, the hospital has been able to set up an ICU, but we still do need certain equipment to be able to sustain the patient before they get to the ICU. Some of these equipment would be what we call a CPAP. A CPAP machine is basically a machine that helps to push air into the lungs to make sure that the patient is receiving adequate air before we are able to put them on the ventilator. Certain minor logistics that we sometimes struggle with, maybe some suturing sets, some central lines, sometimes we do not have, and the patients are forced to go scouring town to be able to secure some of these things. We plead so much with your outlets because of the volume of cases that we see, because of the variety of cases that we see. We would really appreciate it if you could come to our aid and assist us with some of these things. Thank you very much.
Regina Kweku, the nurse in charge of the Accident and Emergency Unit. Here at the Accident and Emergency Unit, we have 3 trained emergency nurses, myself and 2 other people. And I have additional staff, 20 people, comprising of enrolled nurses and registered general nurses. Here at my department, we receive all manner of emergencies, be it medical, surgical, trauma emergencies. We lack many equipment in terms of patient monitors, handheld pulse oximeters, defibrillators, suction machines, BP apparatuses, thermometers, and the rest. But we have few that, notwithstanding, we usually work with them and we are okay. In terms of our consumables, because we receive lots of patients, we tend to use most of our consumables, and it's by and by it runs short. So we make do with whatever that we have available at the department. There again, we'll be glad if we get assistance in terms of the equipment that I've mentioned, those that we have less of them. We get assistance in that direction, we'll be pleased and we'll be happy to work more and give better care to our patients.
My name is Jenny Bodum. I'm an emergency nurse. There are times that we have cases that, especially patients who are knocked down by moving vehicles without relatives, they come to the emergency and then we care for them, but then we have no relatives to take care of them, so it becomes the responsibility of the unit to do everything for them. And it becomes a challenge as we have patients we are caring for. It becomes difficult financially getting especially dressings, clothing and stuff for them. But we've had one success case, and it's as a result of support that we had from an NGO. So we'd like to get help, if possible, for such patients that are abandoned at the department.
My first time was Abahani. Nam environment or no am fine papa. Menu aje. I neat. I bibia necessary so also. Who's no winning? Why am them fine when yankasa fine. Why bibia fine. When Ed was in my hair, was in my hand fine. Time was a dish was our brain. Bibia was our brain. It's one brain I want papa. Next time to me, I'll have a when you're back.
Me asthmatic patients na me de body na me small kaka won na podi share mo no ma me nwaje na mom adia kaka me ho an de me ben na bed ni ha na ha ina ayema nti na me nya baby a wo de me betu nti me tina ego ma for the meantime ansana wo nya baby ama na one washroom no so I think there one sha nti e won nya enough place no ye congested into ama e wona chirkaka nti se wo betuma ye bibi kakra so afọ amehena nkai ni mi abeg.
Our role is to make sure that we manage whatever comes in well. We ensure that it is used for the maximum benefit of the patients and the staff who would be receiving it. So we are grateful, and we encourage who can to donate generously to.
Wow. You know, Dr. Tambo, thank you so much for this.
Started somewhere in the...
Yeah, I think the video has nearly come to an end. And I don't know why, but not just me, a number of us who have watched this video were very touched to see the current situation. And this is just a cross-section of the hospital, and more importantly, the emergency department. We'll go into detail with regards to the findings in the video, but I just want to know, in terms of the Ghana health system, where do we place Effia Nkwata Hospital?
Right. Thank you very much, Winnie, for that question. Yeah, I think it's important to let the public know what our role and our mandate is as a hospital. Effia Nkwata is a regional hospital, or in other words, a secondary hospital. And if you know the system in Ghana, we have a tiered or a layered system. And at the bottom of that layer, all the layers, is the primary health care. The primary health care encompasses the district hospitals, the polyclinics, the health centers, maternity homes, CHIPS compounds, and the rest of them. So the primary health care level is where the patient walks into the hospital and says, maybe I have a headache, I've cut my finger, I had maybe some cough and all that. So where the patient walks in directly usually is at the primary health care level.
Right. So
now,
in terms of the Takoradi area, what are some of the examples of these places?
Okay, so we have secondary Takoradi is blessed with a lot of public institutions, and most of them are at the primary level. So I'll talk about the district hospitals, Takoradi, Kwesimintin, Esikado. Then I can talk about the health centers and the polyclinics.
Right.
Yes, so I think there's one at New Takoradi. There's a health center there. There's
Esikado.
one at Esipon. Esikado is a hospital now.
It's a hospital now?
Yes, Esikado is a hospital now. They're doing fantastic. Yeah, so we have all these littered around the metropolis, but they do basically primary health care. Okay. Now, beyond after the primary healthcare system is the secondary level, where you tend to have more specialists, doctors and nurses who are specialized in one area or the other, who are able to take some of the cases that the primary healthcare system could not manage and then take care of them. So we have specialists in obstetrics, gynecology, surgery, internal medicine, and so on and so forth. Good. So that's the secondary level. Above the secondary level is the tertiary level, what in Ghana is popularly known as the teaching hospitals. Okay, so in Ghana we have the Kolibus, the Confanoches, now Tamale and Cape Coast.
Right.
Okay, and they are even, I think they are now, and then University of Ghana Medical Center.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the teaching hospitals,
okay,
which is a tertiary level where Effia Nkwata hopefully would soon get to. That's the level we aspire to get to in the next 3 years or so.
Right.
Good. So that's the tier system that we have, and Effia Nkwata currently is at the secondary level.
Right. Does it have to be training doctors to be considered as a teaching hospital?
Yeah.
Because I trained in Effia Nkwata, and
yes,
it's still training,
yeah,
but for nurses. So is it because there are no training for doctors there?
Yeah.
Is that why it's not at that level yet?
Yes. So Auntie Winnie, I think that Ghana, we tend to be more Catholic than the Pope. The thing is that we learnt from the British system, the old British system,
right,
which classified hospitals that taught medical students as teaching hospitals,
okay,
and the rest as non-teaching hospitals.
Okay.
But I think the world has moved on.
Yeah.
So basically, we do a lot of teaching. We teach nurses, we even teach medical students and the rest of them, even residents. So I believe that old nomenclature maybe has to change. Yeah, so I think it's a matter of time. I believe that a time will come when every hospital will be considered a teaching hospital once you train one cadre of staff or the other.
I see. Right. Because I trained at Effia Nkwata NCC.
So exactly.
And I think now it's got, is it training degree nursing students?
We have degree programs coming up.
Right.
And your school has done fantastic.
Oh, really?
Earlier this afternoon, I was with one of your, I think she may be senior to you.
Okay.
She was awarded an award, a commander of the British Army.
Really?
British Empire, sorry, CBE.
Okay. CBE,
Yes, CBE. And I think that's a huge recognition.
Right.
Yeah,
and she trained at Effia Nkwata.
She trained at Effia Nkwata.
Do you know the name? Who is it?
Mrs. Cecilia Enim.
Oh, Dr. Cecilia
Enim, yes.
Enim, yeah, and she was at the event, isn't it?
Yeah, she was at the event also. And I heard of a lot of awardees, national awardees in the UK who trained from the Effia Nkwata.
Yeah. So by that, you mean they train there as their background, but they are living here in the UK. So I have a few more because in Iran, in our association now, we have Mrs. Irene Alomenu as well, who won the Queen's Nurse in 2022, and that's a massive award, you know, because everyone is eligible who is a nurse in the UK, and they all go through a very stringent process, and then they come up with a winner.
Wow.
Yeah, awarded by the Queen.
That's right.
You know, so you can imagine what she would have done.
So we have fantastic nurses.
Yeah.
So Western Yowazoye.
Yeah, the best comes from the West, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like that. And yeah, so what facilities should we expect to see when we go to Effia Nkwata now? And then I have a reason for asking this.
Okay. All right. So let me, before I get to the question, let me just inform the public that currently Effia Nkwata is at a transition.
Right.
The hospital is being redeveloped into a teaching hospital, as I mentioned earlier. And so those of you who know the hospital, if you get there today, you would find that the southern side, which had the old wards, the
Ward C,
Ward
Ward
C,
A,
Ward A, Ward D, Ward B, and then the accident and emergency, all that aspect has been flattened.
Really?
Yes, and new structures are being built from scratch.
Okay.
Okay, and the idea is to build these new structures, these huge structures, to fuse into the old tower block, which had the maternity block, and then theater block, and then the administration block.
I see.
So that the hospital can operate as a unit.
Yeah.
So these structures have been spared, but the old ones have been demolished, and then construction is going on. So this is more like the phase 1 of the project. The phase 2 is likely to tackle the OPD area, to convert
the old OPD area.
OPD. It's still functioning as a It used to be the accident and emergency in those days. It's now serving as an OPD, and the idea is to, in the future, convert that into a polyclinic.
I see.
Where people can walk in from around the neighborhood. Yes, they can walk in there. But at the top of the hill will all be specialized services.
So are there wards now?
So yes, what we've done is to move the wards into the tower building. Right. So that's why you saw in the video they were talking about congestion. It's true. Because we had to move the wards into that little space. One, we've had a reduction in the number of beds, and two, the space is really too small for everybody. But we do understand that this is just like a gestational, this is like a, birth pains. I mean, what the women go through before they deliver. We know we have to go through these problems, and we continually inform our patients about it, that we are in a moment of difficulty, but it's for the good eventually. Right. Good. So we have managed to condense the services together, and so still we have all our services. Right. Even though, like I said, the number of beds have gone down. So you will find your obstetrics emergency, obstetrics and gynecology. You will find your surgery, including urology, maxillofacial, dentistry, and so on. All in that building? Oh, yes, all in that building. You will find internal medicine, and you will find child health or pediatrics, and then you will find, which one haven't I mentioned? I think I've mentioned all of them. And then you will find the theaters also attached next to that building, like it used to be. Right. So everything is intact except the spaces are smaller. But even within that small place, we've managed to also create a small ICU. It's just a 6-bed ICU that is meant for the most critically ill clients, which we've just started. So this is what you will find at the Effia Nkwata. It's on course. Yes.
Yeah, and how many years do we anticipate this will be completed, all these phases?
Yeah. The project, the initial one, this phase 1, started last year. I think we're almost a year into the project. It was meant to run for 32 months, but I know that because of the financial crisis and all that, we may have a few months, we may be a few months late, according to the contractors. So we're looking at about 2 years from now. 2 years? Yes.
And all the wards and everything will be complete.
Yes.
That's good to know, because obviously you wonder how all these services fit into this same old building. Is it just the same old building like before, the maternity block?
Yeah, it's the same maternity block.
So by virtue of location, where is this accident and emergency department?
Excellent. So that's another very ingenious thing we did. We converted what you know as the laundry unit.
Right.
We converted the laundry. At the back. Exactly. We converted the laundry unit into an accident and emergency center. And the space above it, which used to be the kitchen, we have taken that place and converted it into child welfare clinic, antenatal clinic, public health services, and what have you. So, like we said, we're just managing to keep the services running as the construction goes on.
Yeah. You know, along the line, if you have a question for me, you can throw it.
Okay.
So let me just tell you what we have been doing so far and why Effia Nkwata is very important to us. Obviously, apart from it being where we were born or where we grew up and all that. Our group, we consider ourselves, that's the Western Region Association of Nurses UK, consider ourselves as a properly professional nursing body. And so all our activities are health inclined, you know, and we focus everything we do to promote health. So one of the interesting things we do is have a health talk within our meetings, and it's, even though it's a social meeting, just to encourage our members to be healthy and to socialize.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a very important feature of all our meetings. So what we started doing is, because we all have different specialties, So like I come in as a cardiac nurse, and then I have occupational therapists, I have urology nurses, ICU nurses. So what we do is that in every single meeting, you volunteer and you talk about a topic. Now, so an example is I started teaching them how to interpret ECGs, for instance. So the person who does occupational therapy or something else may not be able to read or identify simple rhythms on an ECG. And likewise, I may not know what they do in their area as well. But then, like for me, I just like people to know the basics of every area. So yes, and through that we realized that, you know what, why don't we try something with Effia Nkwata? And I say this because we had already made contact and done some projects with the school. But at the end of the day, the students are going to come to the hospital
for training.
And that is where the problem will be. So, I mean, we have pictures of some presentations we've done, some projects we've done for the school. And for the school, we've managed to set up a computer lab. We provided them with 20 brand new computers and 2 brand new projectors to set up this lab. And so far as I know, it is very functional to facilitate learning. And then recently we have what you can see in the pictures is an anesthetist machine that we donate. Is it of use? Is it being used?
Yes, it is. It is at the ground floor theater.
It's where
it's being used mainly for obstetric cases.
Okay.
Yes, so it's of immense help.
And it's in good condition.
Absolutely good condition.
And readily operatable.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You brought a good machine. And
okay.
Yeah. It's working well.
Yeah. And I must say, this is a machine that was given to us freely by the Women's Hospital in London. They were just getting new equipment, so they asked, and one of our very good staff, Emma Asasi, works with them. And so they said, do you think you would make use of it? And otherwise it was going to be thrown somewhere. But it was in very good condition. You know, I listened to your interview on Omega the other day, and there was one appeal you made, which I thought was very important, because you said so many people bring in equipment and some of them are just put away. How important is it for people to understand this in terms of doing any project with the hospital?
It's very important. Thank you for raising that issue. I have worked at various levels, all the levels in the health system, and it's a common, a recurring issue that somebody just listening to the plight of his hospital, or the hospital in his village or his town, I'm talking about diasporans, decides that, oh, let me get them something. So they go and get just any piece of equipment and then they bring it. Sometimes some of this equipment, one may not be usable within our contexts.
In what way?
So for instance, people who donate things from the US, they bring in machines with the wrong voltage. The electrical, you know, the Ghana, we have a different voltage system from the US, and immediately that machine can't work. Sometimes you may have to do a lot of adjustments before maybe they can work. Sometimes some machines are brought in and they are actually obsolete. And I've seen somebody bring in an ultrasound machine that we couldn't use.
That is not functional.
Yes, that we couldn't use because, and then sometimes the language. People bring in machines that are operated in a different language from English language. You know, so it's so many issues. And then there's also the issue of bringing in things that we already have. You know, so it is not of that much value to us as if you would have asked us, and then we would tell you which the areas are so that you can channel your support into. So it's very important that that is done. Then there are also standards in every country. that every equipment that you bring in must conform. So if the equipment that is coming in does not conform to the country standards, you can't even bring them in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. So and that one too has happened to us a few times. So I would use this opportunity once again to say that if you want to support us, contact us.
Yeah.
And let's first of all direct you in the area of most need, because like you were saying, the places like the accident and emergency, like the ICU that we've just started, these are some of the areas that you can make the most impact. Okay.
Yeah.
So we would like to use that this opportunity to make that point very clear, and loud.
Yeah. You know, I was on a mission in Ghana
Yeah.
last year with the Trio Bridge Foundation, and we went around the country training in maternal emergencies, like during labor, postpartum hemorrhage, and all that. And one thing was very clear.
Yeah.
So many equipment that had been packed away, you know, in cupboards, not being used, and most of them, the lifespan was as long as the supplies that came with it.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Because you know, when you live in a system like the UK, the systems are very efficient. So in the NHS, you would have all the supplies available and all that. How do we source it? Why is this such a big problem in Ghana?
Oh. Well, I would say it probably has to do with know-how. I think that there are times when people who are supposed to go and do the purchases do not contact the user, the end users. And if that happens, then they go and bring something which the end user says, this is not what I really want. You know, so that I think is a failure of our system to function properly.
Right.
Because for purchases, the end user is the one that's supposed to activate the process for purchase, not somebody sitting in an office somewhere doing the procurement for the end user.
Yeah, you know, on these missions, everyone tends to be sent to their area of specialization. So in a number of hospitals, I ended up in the cardiac ward, and basic equipment like ECG machine was not available. You know, I remember the first time I ever saw an ECG machine was in an office in Akosombo Hospital, and I worked there too. You know, VRA Hospital.
So when I worked there too.
Yes. So when I listened to your interview and I said, I heard you worked there, I was quite. I said, oh, you know, that's fantastic. But that was the only place I ever saw an ECG machine. But it was even locked away. But then the very nature of the equipment, it has to be in an emergency department. Has Effia Nkwata even got one?
Oh, we do.
You do?
We do. We do have an ECG machine.
Right.
That's at the accident and emergency.
Right.
I know that we have another one for the general ward.
Yeah.
But I know that some point in time, one breaks down, and then there's one that has to be circulated around. That has happened a few times, I must confess. But we do have ECG machines.
You do?
Yes.
We are in an appeal process. Let me just generally put it this way.
Yes.
Like, seriously, like every ward has to have an ECG machine.
Absolutely.
You know, because just as we check the basic observations, temperature, pulse, respiration, and saturations and all that. An ECG machine should be available on every single ward. And so, as part of our appeal, when we eventually list the equipment, I think we should put as many. Even if you have some.
Yeah, I agree with you perfectly.
As many. What about training?
Training
in the use of these equipment.
Yes. So ECG. I was fascinated when you said you interpret ECGs and all that. Even me as a doctor, I learned to interpret ECGs in school. But you know, these skills, when you do not practice, they fade away. And so today, probably I can just do the rhythm, and then I recognize a wrong shapes and all that. But that's the end of it. I can't. Yeah. So I'm fascinated to know that you can interpret ECGs, and I believe my nurses should be able to do same.
Yes.
And they should be able to use the cardioversion machine.
Yes.
They should be able to use even the ultrasound machine for emergency purposes. They should be able to recognize simple, problems.
So that brings us to training.
Yes.
And it's one of the, I keep saying the Trailbridge mission because that is what we went to do.
Yeah.
And you see, it fascinated me, and we were all stunned at some point because in a lot of the facilities that we went to, we did the training how to identify a patient needing CPR, how to start CPR, but we couldn't progress to show them how to use the defib machines.
Yeah.
We had to stop at that stage, because they just weren't available for them, which we were all quite sad. But this year, I think we are planning to sort of go with some machines which we can train them with and leave for the hospitals to do. So in terms of training, do you think it's important that we start something? Because I mean, it doesn't matter, some of the training can even be done online or remotely, but it is so important that we start. And that's why I'm so happy you are here, because you are the very top of the ladder, and you can actually influence them to make some of these changes. So by way of what we plan to do with the hospital, how do you think we can go about with it?
Okay, so I will say that you're already on the right track.
Transforming care. So we have that in focus.
Transforming care. You are on the right track.
Emergency department. How can we go about it?
Good. So let's go about it together. Let's work together.
Let's work together.
Yes, I believe that, like you said, Effia Nkwata's current management is very responsible.
I can tell.
And responsive. The thing is that we know that we've inherited a place that is not the best. We want to give the best to the community. And that's why anytime we find the opportunity to get any resource that can help improve on services, we jump at it. So you realize that as soon as I got wind of this, I was all on board.
And it's not the just first me, time. So
not just me, but my administrator, team, my nurse manager, everybody, was up and ready to do whatever they could. So that's the kind of team that
the passion you have.
Yes, we want to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And we want to partner with like-minded groups such as yours to make sure that that happens. So you are already on the right track because you contacted us. And the next thing is that let's just keep working together in an atmosphere of cordiality, openness, and with the mindset of getting things done at the basic level, so that the people, the patients and the community will benefit from them. So I will say that let's just keep doing what we're doing right now. I believe that we will make a difference together.
Absolutely, and that's what the vision is, and that's what we are working towards. But training, I won't stop talking about that, because that really sort of is of paramount importance. Is there, we all train, I train as a nurse, you train as a doctor, and is there any mandatory trainings generally? Because like in the UK, there are certain training sessions that we have all the doctors and nurses on the training program to do things together. Because it's more effective in an emergency when there's teamwork. So by virtue of training, is there any such sessions at all?
Absolutely, yes, there are. Just I think a month or two ago, we had a training program for frontline staff. And that included staff at the accident and emergency, the obstetric triage, the NICU, and so on, because these are the front lines where patients come to. And the training involved the basic life support, advanced life support, and so on. And we are trying to even add things like customer service and all that, because we've been taking a lot of flack from the community that
and
we
rightly
are not.
so, don't
Yes,
you think?
absolutely, I agree with you. Yes, that even though we may be doing a good job, but the way we communicate may not be that effective. So we've started, but we're doing it in phases. And so if we receive support from you or any other organization to be able to do it better, we would love it. And the next thing is also to do with the equipment. Well, currently what you're planning to do is to support us with the equipment. But the equipment themselves will not work. So it's the human beings that we need to be able to, for them to be able to use this equipment. So I think equipment training would also be very, very important. And I always say that life is about continuous improvement. You are in a more advanced country than us. There's newer things coming up every day. And so if you can bring in some of those new expertise, new ideas and things, we are willing and ready to learn.
Yes, willing and ready. And I like that, the fact that we are going to be partnering in this, to do this. And again, with the training, you know, like there were a few things that I picked up again on the mission, and that was protocols. Following protocols. Surely we do have protocols in Ghana, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, for managing different conditions. Is that the case?
There is definitely. So and for us, you will always find these protocols have been laminated and hanging on our walls. Sometimes they can make the walls unsightly, but we'd rather have unsightly walls with patients surviving. You know, so we do have protocols everywhere. And I think sometimes the problem is the discipline to follow through with these protocols, which is the essence of the training that we give. So keep reminding people that this is what you're supposed to be doing all the time, you know.
And again, it was one of my observations, but I think we will help. I got to the stage where we've come to acquire so much knowledge. What is the point if I go to Ghana and collapse and somebody cannot resuscitate me? And that is the scariest part. But I think it's because of the background I am coming from in cardiology. So the training here is such that if you are in a coronary care unit or in a cardiac unit, for instance, everybody knows what the protocol is. You see, so you know that for somebody who has come with a heart attack, bed rest, then you start your aspirin, you start your clopidogrel, fondaparinux, GTN spray, and all that, and the morphine for pain. So I know, you know, and then I can talk to the doctor and say, oh, we haven't given the loading dose of something. So is it an oversight? And that is the beauty of the teamwork. Of the teamwork. So yes, I'm going to try everything I can to make sure we are getting some of these protocols functional. And you know why I am so passionate about this? Because obviously through doing this show, a lot of people contact me, some with their ECGs and you know, some with their very sick patients. How do we manage and all that? And I understand and I try to help as much as I can. But there was one particular case where a patient had been told their ECG was fine. And I saw it here and I had to call Ghana immediately that you are having a heart attack, find a hospital. And and I say it with so much passion. Obviously, I was hoping that this patient getting there would be admitted, put on the monitor, start treatment, inject, whilst they wait for an intervention, like a stent to be put in. It didn't happen. They returned the patient home. He had already been told the ECG was fine. And then after they talked to me later in the evening, they died. You know, this man died. It's just a failure of the system. But then we can't give up. We can't give up. So we have many people watching us tonight. So let's have a break. Have a little break. And then let's acknowledge all these people. We'll be right back. Right. So welcome back after the tiny little break.
Yeah.
And I think the battery on this one is about to go off shortly. But let's acknowledge some people who are watching and see if we can answer some of their questions. So Angela Otu, Habib Ahmed, Effia Nkwata, Irene Sefasakwoku, and I have Constance Nipa. She is watching from Colorado in the United States. Marilyn Marbell. Yes, so many people. Martha from Sheffield, Melody is watching. Some of them I don't even know. But yeah, I think everyone, most of these people are passionate about Takrady.
Yes.
So let's have a break. How long have you been there at Effia Nkwata Hospital yourself?
I've been at Effia Nkwata for 4 years.
For
and
4 years?
4 years and some
right.
months, yes.
Yeah. I see. And in the position of medical director.
Medical director, yes.
I see. Yeah. So people are just giving you high five. Some may even be your colleagues,
yes,
but you never know.
Marilyn was my classmate.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Abib.
Yeah.
It's a colleague. He's
I see.
so
right. Are they in Effia Nkwata as well?
No, they are.
Right.
Yeah,
so Jacob Osei, great work. But there is this from Dan Owusu-Afrani, and I'm sure he's my mate at Fijai Sixth Form. And he says there's a dedicated division within the Ghana Health Service with qualified biomedical engineers, and I suggest that in future the department should be contacted prior to procuring some of the equipment. It's just to do with the equipment thing, isn't it? In addition, there should be after sales training for a select group of engineers.
Yes.
The facilities must also have a dedicated or ring-fenced account purposely to provide resources for routine and planned preventive maintenance of equipment. This is what we term sustainability. Well done, Winnie. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Yeah, a lot of it are compliments to me, so I wouldn't go into that. But I think I appreciate you all, Nana, Nia, Henakwa, and Dorothy Chumesi. They are all Morgans watching. But it's the questions I'm looking for. So let's see. The Trowbridge Foundation, I've said that they are going in September. And you remember I linked you guys up at the party.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Dr. Bright Jampo. And George Noilati,
that's right,
who coordinates, and they said the MOSET training is coming to you. So it's coming to Effia Nkwata. I'll be so privileged.
Wonderful.
I'll be so honored to see that happen, because it's just the basic things we need to function. So thank you, Trowbridge. But I think it's more into obstetrics, which I'm sure will be of benefit to Effia Nkwata anyway.
Yes.
But I know that there's Dr. Conrad, who you've made contact with as well, and he's into emergency medicine.
Conrad Buckle, yes.
Dr. Buckle,
yes.
Yeah, is into.
And he's in Ghana currently.
He
landed yesterday.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so there are so many people. And again, from Trowbridge, they said we need to help them with guidelines and protocols, because this is just a practical observation. Because, like you said, equipment alone won't save lives without guidelines, protocols, and teamwork.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's important we emphasize that. Yeah. So now let's focus on Effia Nkwata, because so far we've been talking general things.
Yes.
What equipment do you think you need?
Okay, so with regards to the accident and emergency, which is your baby.
My baby. I'm not an A&E nurse, by the way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I look after hearts,
yes.
But then, majority of the cases that will be coming to you probably will be cardiovascular related,
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm sure I'll be of use somehow.
That's true.
Yeah, and so what equipment does Effia Nkwata desperately need?
Okay, so for the accident and emergency, I think those who watch the video would have seen it. We need an ECG, some
more
ECGs,
of them,
more ECGs,
more of them.
and then we need the defibrillators. We need ultrasound machines.
Ultrasound.
And
specifically for what?
For fast. So for quick spot diagnosis when the
Yeah,
patient's
because
coming.
like here we have say even say the gynae ultrasounds, and we have even bladder scans as
so,
like little portable ultrasound. So specifically,
so that's what we're talking about, the little portable ultrasounds with the linear, curvilinear, curved probes,
right?
Would be enough for the accident and emergency.
Okay.
But we would also need some for some other units like obstetrics and gynae, and then surgery as well. So that's also something that we need. We need the cardiac monitors.
Yeah.
As a young doctor mentioned, we need a number of them. We need vital sign monitors. We need quite a number of them. I think every bed in the A&E should have one of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with a cardiac monitor.
So these are some of the things we need purposely for the A&E.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned, we also have a fledgling ICU, which we need quite a lot for. We need ventilators. We need I think mainly ventilators. That's what is lacking currently.
Right.
We need the perfusers, and then infusion pumps.
I think it should start from the A&E, isn't it?
Yes. So,
because people have to be resuscitated.
Yes,
because
before
you remember when we made contact, our focus was initially on the ICU.
Yes.
And then, as per the request of the nurses, like we decided to start from the entry point of the hospital. And so yes.
So those things should be looked at, the perfusers and infusion machines.
Yeah.
And of course the monitors also, the vital sign monitors, cardiac monitors, and so on. Then we need a dialysis machine, at least one in the ICU.
Is there one anywhere in the hospital at the moment?
We have we set up a dialysis unit.
Okay.
Which is working, but unfortunately issues with the machines breaking down, and consumables not being readily available all the time is hampering its work.
I see.
So we will need help in that area also if it is available. And the theater, I think some operating beds, some of the beds are pretty old. But like I mentioned, because we are undergoing a renovation or redevelopment, it's often difficult going to ask for all these things again. Because the project that is coming up is a turnkey. It's going to come with everything. So we ask government to give us these things with a little bit of also the understanding that they are giving us so much already. And that's why it's important that the community or society would help us also, so that we can keep services going.
Was the hospital involved in the planning of the redevelopment project?
Yes.
Okay, so they know their needs.
Yes.
Of the hospital.
And I would say that the design process for the new Effia Nkwata has been a very iterative process. There's been a lot of back and forth, and as we speak, it's still ongoing. So if at any point we find out that there's something that we left out, I think that the contractors have been really fantastic. We can always come to them with any new ideas that hits us, and then they would always listen to us. So it's not like the design has truncated or has stopped. It's an ongoing process.
So it will hopefully be purpose-built, because from the video in the A&E department as it stands, and we understand there are things going on, but in terms of confidentiality and dignity and all that, it's straight out of the window.
Absolutely.
Because there is no charge. It's all just one room, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, this is a makeshift place. It's just to be able to hold the patient so that we can manage until the new Jerusalem arrives. So we will.
You are confident it will arrive.
It started. It started, and I believe that no matter what happens, this project will be seen to its completion.
I hope it will be sooner than later, because I think people need it.
That's
there is somebody watching by way Edward Sapon, and he says effective interprofessional collaboration matters in all robust healthcare deliveries. Can't wait to witness a comprehensive healthcare system everywhere in Ghana. And yeah, I think that is an important contribution. Do you think we will get to that stage at all?
Yes, I think we will. It's just a matter of time. I think that if you look at our healthcare system today, compared to when, let's say, we came out of school, there's been a lot of changes in the positive direction. And I think that even though the pace of that change may not be as rapid as we wanted, I think there's just a matter of progression that we will gradually get to where we think we want to get to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the problem for me has been the lack of investment by successive governments into healthcare. Yeah, and it looks like the past few years, I think our governments have probably woken up to the reality that, look, our healthcare system is not good enough, and that we need to develop it better. And so I could see that the previous government did quite a lot in starting new hospitals. And this government is even doing more, because as we speak, there are over 100 new hospitals that are either being built or being planned. You know, and I think that if these are able to come on stream, that would be a huge help. The only thing I have a problem with is that we are not training the human resource to be able to resource those facilities that are coming up. And if we do not do that
why
quickly,
is that? Is it because the training is not in the country? They have to go outside to train, or what's the problem?
I think that it's an issue of planning. But obviously, because government has already pumped in so much into the infrastructure bit of things, the funds to do the training and things may be short. That's probably why things are that way. But luckily, we have a health minister now who he listens. It's somebody who listens, and I believe that with the information we from within the system give to him, I believe that the training will come on stream, and that the hospitals will be resourced by the time they are put up.
So hopefully one day we'll get there. I hope so. So Prince Amanfo is saying that as for the customer care training and monitoring is needed at every level of the healthcare system, which is absolutely right, with refresher trainings, but the health authorities are only doing a little about that. Some do not do anything at all. And you see, and that is true. And I was wondering whether there are any annual updates or there are any sessions. Is there even ever a session where nurses and doctors are working as a team? Is there any such training at all?
Oh yes, it's you know, one of the core values of the Ghana Health Service. I mentioned Ghana Health Service because that's
what
my mother institution. Yes, one of our core values is teamwork. It's teamwork and patient-centeredness. So we work together. So I would use Effia Nkwata as an example. We encourage the departments in the units to have meetings amongst themselves. So unit meetings and departmental meetings involve doctors, nurses, and any other professional group that is in there. Then at the hospital level, we have monthly clinical meetings, which
with nurses included.
Everybody is in there. And at the regional levels, we have training programs that involves everybody. Before I left Ghana, I signed a few letters inviting people to go for training at the regional level, and it encompasses both doctors, nurses, medical laboratory scientists, and all that. We also have regional reviews. These regional reviews involve both nurses, doctors, and I would say the other professional cadres also. So the teamwork is ongoing. It's, like I said, it's sometimes we do a lot of things that we do not make noise about, and people don't know that we are doing these things.
Yeah.
But there are things that are ongoing. It's one of our cardinal obligations.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah. We have a lot of people watching, which is very encouraging, and most of us are tardy citizens. Yeah, yes. which is great to see.
I know tardy people love the Effia Nkwata,
and
that's why I have sleepless nights. Because I want to get things right.
Yeah.
My team and I want to get things right for these teeming masses who love their hospital.
Yeah.
Every little thing that happens in Effia Nkwata is on the radio.
Okay.
Or it's in front of one authority or the other. People are very passionate about Effia Nkwata.
Yeah, I think about Takrady in general.
Yes, and for good reasons.
For good reasons.
Because I know that these people, I mean, some of them were born there, some of them...
Like me.
Oh, you were born in Effia Nkwata?
I'm a true citizen.
Oh, you see, then you...
Of all my siblings, me, I am the one that was born there. But you know where I was born? I was born at the medical center at Air Force, Air Force base. There was a little...
Yeah, there's still a place there.
It's still there,
it's still there, yes.
Oh, I have to really go and see how it is. But you see, my cord is somewhere there, So that's why I keep coming back. Yeah.
So the people love their hospital.
Yeah.
Look, Effia Nkwata, some of us growing up had heard the name, and it was associated with very positive things.
Yeah.
So to hear that today, the narrative is different.
Okay.
That's something that I have sleepless nights over.
Right.
And we want to change that narrative.
We want to
make sure that hopefully in the next 5, 6, say 10 years, when you come to Effia Nkwata, you would be proud that you were born there, you were born there, or you were taken care of there. Or you were associated with it in one way or the other.
And I nursed people there.
Exactly. So,
and I still have family and friends who come from that area. Yeah. So all in all, how has your experience been so far in the UK?
In the UK, I think I told somebody that I think I'm a cheat. I'm a cheat because I came here in the summer.
Yeah. Well, today is not a particularly good day,
today has not
though.
been too good, but
raining all day. But so far so good.
So far
right?
so good. I'm tolerating the weather very well.
Yeah.
And thanks to yourself and a few people, I've been comfortable. And so by and large, it's been good.
It's been so far. So next time when we ask you to come, you will.
Oh, I won't miss it.
You won't
for
miss
all
it.
the fufu in Kumasi.
Hey, my Kumasi people won't be happy with you, Yeah. So there is a question from Benny Harrison. She says, how can we guarantee sustainability of the training and equipment, which is very important, and I will emphasize that because you linked me up with Michael in USA, isn't it?
Yeah.
And has he had any engagement with you? He's a gentleman who helps sorts out equipment for different hospitals.
But there are other people that could, even here in the UK,
other people.
Even here in the UK who could support you. And I think that maybe we need to look at somebody that is closer, so that you could have a hands-on on what they are doing. So we would leave that door open for others to come in. But so the training, it's critical.
Yeah.
It's so important, and that fact is not lost on us.
Okay.
We like I said, it's something that we do all the time, but it is going to be even more so with new equipment coming in and new technologies coming in. We want to make sure that we'll be on top of our game.
Yeah.
Not only just training, but also simulations. We do that every year.
Yeah. Is there a training center or simulation center?
We do not have a
not at the moment
simulation center, but what we often do is just to reconfigure our conference center.
I see.
And
You have a conference center?
We have a conference center.
Right,
now, yes.
okay. Well,
but
that's
we thought that it was very important
yeah.
to have that, because
yeah.
you can't train people when all the time you have to go out to the
exactly.
to a hotel,
no.
To rent a place and all that. So one of the first things we did when we came in was to make sure that we have a conference room.
Good, that's
we have
great.
we have a big place now.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the biggest conference rooms in.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. So
yeah.
yes,
it's really great. How can people be reassured? You know, when health professionals or different specialists come into Ghana and they go to sort of integrate into any system, some of the first things you hear is that, hey, they are all knowing, you know, too known. Now you can them. Too known. I say for now, but yeah. How reassuring? How should people just feel free and willing to come and help?
Yes.
Ghana, are we going to be welcome?
You are going to be. You are welcome everywhere. I think. I can use myself as an example. I can use myself as an example that people, the leaders of the hospitals, are keen to change things.
Yeah.
And they are waiting for the help. In fact, they want the help.
Yeah.
And a lot of these hospital leadership actually go out of their way to solicit help.
Yeah.
So for someone who is going around with cup in hand, why wouldn't he accept your proposal for help if you open up to him or her?
Yeah.
So we are willing to work with whoever.
Yeah.
For the sake of our clients and the community that we serve.
Okay.
And like I said, I use myself as an example, and you can testify that when you came to us, we were very much excited to work with you.
Yeah, you really were very helpful. Yeah, and that I can attest to. The fact that you were just willing to help to make sure this happens, even including coming all the way to be part of the fundraising program. I think we've spoken a lot and we are nearly coming to the end of the session. Is there any appeal you want to ask the public?
Okay, so one thing I would want to say is that so Effia Nkwata has in the past had a poor reputation.
Yeah.
I would say a poor image in the eyes of the community and then patients. But it is a narrative we're trying to change, and I believe that we will change it. And so we want to appeal to people around Secondary Takoradi to assist us so that we change this. You see, the thing is, healthcare is not the responsibility of only the healthcare providers.
Yeah.
It is partly a responsibility of the community. So we want the community to partner us so that we can together solve some of the problems that they complain about. We would also want to plead with them. When you come to hospital, be your most polite, because some of the people that you come to meet may have worked probably over the night. They're tired, they are stressed out and all that. So sometimes when they also encounter the unpleasant behavior from people, there's always that likelihood that somebody will snap. So let's work together. Let's be kind to each other. Let's be respectful to each other. And I believe that Effia Nkwata will get to the level that we all wanted to get to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be making an appeal on behalf of the Western Region Association of Nurses, but I'll let you go first.
Yes.
If people want to donate to Effia Nkwata, how do they go about with it?
Okay, so we have an email address that I
think the producer will probably share it.
I would like him to put it up there so that, and then we have a front desk number.
A front desk number as well.
That they can reach us. So I think it's on the screen now.
Yeah.
The first one is info@enrh.org.gh. That's ENRH is the short for Effia Nkwata Regional Hospital.
Yeah.
And then we have a second one, which is effiankwanta.rhwr, which is Regional Health Western Region.
Okay.
At GHS, that's Ghana Health Service, .government.gh Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our phone number is +23355981172. That's our phone desk number. Please use these. Don't go and channel any donation through any individual account.
Yeah.
Not even mine.
Yeah.
So those are the channels I would want people to contact us by.
Yeah. If they have any donations to give, and I'm
yes.
sure it will be very useful.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
don't think you live in the UK, so you don't want to do anything to help Mother Ghana when it comes to health. You never know when you have a heart attack or anything, and for that, I know other organs will probably wait, and you can catch a flight and come. But when it's a heart attack, you have no chance. You have no chance, and even the altitude in the plane is going to probably send you into a cardiac arrest. On that note, I think I have thoroughly enjoyed the session from Saturday, where we partied till we dropped, to tonight, where we've had a great insight into Effia Nkwata Hospital. Padifo, this is all for us. The next time you have to speak Fantio.
Oh, me try.
Yeah. One tell one I won't blow. It will be awesome. Yeah. But this has been a very passionate session. Most of us from that area would love as much as we see a beautiful structure, that we come there and we see a transformation in the care in the hospital as a whole, but more so at the emergency department in particular. And so in my term of office as the chairperson for the Western Region Association of Ghana, if I don't try to do anything at all, and I probably will still keep doing this even when my term is over, to make a difference in the lives of the people of Takoradi through healthcare. On that note, Dr. Tambil, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here in the studio tonight. I'm very grateful for spending time, taking some time off all the way from Ghana to come and be part of the 10th anniversary of RAN UK. I take this opportunity to also appeal, if anyone wants to be a patron and support us financially or in any way, we are happy to receive you. To the members, what we are doing is fantastic. We are changing lives. We are making a difference in the lives of people. I know there are so many people who are inquiring how they can come and join this group. Our arms are wide open. So long as you know everything we are doing is going to be at Effia Nkwata Hospital, then our arms are wide open. You don't even need to be affiliated to the area, but you must support the cause, which is to change or help transform care at Effia Nkwata Hospital. So on that note, I want to say a big thank you to Uncle Joe, Omega TV UK. We have an immaculate studio here. I've not been here for a year, but what a welcome surprise to see the studio transform so much. And I'm sure it is the beginning of many good things to come. So people, make contact, try and donate. Nothing is too small, and let's go and support healthcare in Ghana. Let's go and make a difference at Effia Nkwata Hospital. RAN, we care with passion. Thank you all so much. So many of you watching, and it's been an absolutely beautiful session. Dr. Tambil, on my personal behalf, I want to say thank you so much for making the trip and for gracing our occasion.
Thank you.
God bless you so much.
God bless
thank
you
you
too.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you all for watching. Did you want to give a shout out to anyone at all?
Okay, so all the viewers, I have a few known colleagues and friends who are currently watching,
yeah,
want to wish you the,
I saw
the best
some
of the evening.
Nana, yeah, I think.
Yes, I think she's
Ama Ayensu.
okay. So all of them.
All of them.
My family, my
Yes.
wife and my kids.
Oh, good.
All staff of Effia Nkwata, right from management members down to the orderly.
Yes.
Want to wish you all the best, and can't wait to see you in the next few days.
Yeah.
I've missed them already.
Oh, when are you going back out of
next
interest?
week.
Next week.
Next week.
Oh, you don't want to stay longer?
I wish I could actually, but
Oh.
there's work to be done, so I have to
Yeah.
go back. Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we will bring you back another time. So to our patrons, run members, every single person who made our 10th anniversary an absolutely big success, we are grateful. But don't forget to keep donating, especially those who pledged, and keep following Omega TV. Bye bye, and have a safe week.
Thank you.